The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, Modern Mortgages. How are you? This is Sarah, your trainer for Velocity. Welcome to the session today. I'm excited to get started with you guys. If any point you have any questions, please feel free to type in the question bar or raise your hand and I can unmute your line. But I'm going to jump right into it. Today we're going to go over some of the basics. Maybe some of you have seen some of this stuff before, but I'm sure there's a lot of things that you'll pick up on that you'll find really helpful, lots of tips and tricks as well. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm just going to share my screen with you. Hopefully you've logged in already. If not, you go to our newton.ca homepage to log in, and you press this login button here at the top, and then it takes you to log into Velocity. Okay, and that's where you'd put in your login info. If you just still don't have that info, you can feel free to reach out to customer cares or to myself and we can share that with you. And then when you're ready, just hit this open Velocity and it will launch you right into your screen. So here I am on my home page just to show you what you're looking at here so you're not kind of flying blind. On your home page, it's broken up into 4 different sections here. So on the top left here, you have your calendar events. These come from your CRM opportunities. And here we have things such as workflows that are really easy to set that you can set to go off based off of trigger dates. So for example, this one is when I have a new lead, it wants me to send them an email or give them a phone call. So a lead being someone that is not a client yet, but a future potential client. So maybe I meet someone at the dog park, they're looking for a mortgage, they give me their card and I go enter them in the system. And where you'd enter them is right here under add lead. And then actually with our CRM, you have the ability to send them anything you want. So you can send them drip marketing pieces going off, at different periods, or you can even have reminders to go off for you or your assistant to give them a call. And that's exactly what this one is. Okay, and then over here is my deals overview. So it's an overview of everything that I have going on in my business. Again, starting with leads, going all the way over to funded. Pipeline is kind of what's everything on the go. Now, if I want to see a large version of the screen, I just click on this Go to Deals dashboard right here, and that launches me to where I have a breakdown of everything I have going on. So this is a really good reference point. And what I can do is scroll from left to right. It goes from leads all the way over to funded and awaiting payment. Ideally, you want your deals, of course, to go all the way there before they go to complete. Now, just by doing your work within the application, moving it along, it's going to move along from section to section for you. Okay, submissions is things that are ready to be submitted or new applications, they go to this category, okay? So just if it's under submission and you're like, hey, I didn't submit that, why is it there? Don't worry, it just means that it's going to be submitted or that's the category it falls under, because other than that, it starts with pre-approvals and leads. At any point, I can hit this view all button if I want to see the full version. And I can search by status as well. So let's see, I want to see all my deals. I just click all, or I want to see all the complete deals, which aren't on the deals dashboard because that would just clutter it up a little bit. I would just hit complete here. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? How's everyone hanging? I'm not going too fast or too slow. All right, everyone seems okay, but again, feel free to interrupt me. So scrolling down on the homepage, you have your message center here. So any mostly mail that's going to come from us here at Velocity, telling you of anything you need to know, such as our system updates that we have every 2 weeks. So definitely look out for those because they'll give you all of the up-to-date information on things we've enhanced or improved about the system. And then here, the CRM overview, this is giving you kind of a nudge to tell you what opportunities you have coming up to connect with your clients in the next 30 days. So it's going to pick up on dates such as pre-approvals, birthdays, anniversaries, maturities. And then I can see right now I have the opportunity for a birthday to reach out to my client. So I would want to go in my CRM and make sure I had my birthday notices set up so that I can really connect with that client and not miss out on an opportunity. Okay, so that's your home page. Now, before we get into more in depth, I'm just going to make sure you know what you're looking at with this sidebar over here and these top icons. So the sidebar, I'll start here. This is where you go to search out an application. You can search by name or deal number. Also important to note is the calendar page, all right? If I click to show you your calendar, you'll see that you have events that have been put on your calendar that will show up here, okay? And this is where you can also sync to your Google Calendar. So if you want to sync, you can click authorize, do two-way and sync it. All right, next important thing I'll point out is the Help Center. This is where you go if you need help. So just click to go there, type in the search bar what you're looking for, and you should find step-by-step FAQs exactly for that to help guide you through any questions that you might have. Okay, and then as I scroll down, you can see the previous deals. I can go and drop in on the last few deals that I've been working on by clicking in here, okay? So that's a really handy thing to note. And then historical deals we're going to get into at a different date, but basically that's where all your deals are that are brought over from Expert. Okay, at the top here are the icons. So this little blue guy, this blue question mark, this is user X. This is kind of a new addition of ours. He wants to show you around a little bit. He's like a digital version of myself. So give him a chance at one point or another, hopefully near the beginning of your usage. Click this Get Started with user X. And he's just going to take you on a tour, show you some things about your settings and your dashboard. Also important to note here is our customer care line that are here for your technical needs. Here's their email address, or if it's urgent, give them a call. They're usually very good at getting back to you. Now this little guy, this little question mark, he is important to point out. He is kind of like your online digital post-it note. He's going to tell you what your tasks and things that you need to do. So if you go in, you can see that I have, for example, set up to send a gift basket every time a deal has been approved. So it's going to tell me, hey, reminder, Kate Middleton's deal has been approved, send her a gift basket. And now that's not going to go away until I actually go in and check it off. If I want to add tasks, I can also add them right within a deal to make them specific to that deal, or I just go press this plus button. Okay, and I can add in a type of task here. So let's say I want to do a follow-up on such and such date, and I can tell myself exactly what I want to do there. Now this ribbon, everyone pay attention right now, because this is something everyone always forgets where it is located, and it's something you're going to want to know. So this is your new applications ribbon. This is where new apps will be stored. Now, if I click on this, see all new applications, at the top here, I have my online application form link. This is the link that you can send to your clients so that they can fill in your online app form. So let me click that link and show you what it looks like. All right, it says this is tells you, sorry, this is a new application for broker name, and your clients can just go through and fill it out. If they need to add a borrower, so more than one person on file, just make sure that they add the borrower here, and then it'll be borrowers number 1 and number 2, so they don't fill out separate applications, but rather the same one. And it's pretty straightforward. Good idea for you guys, though, to go in and fill this out for yourself or your dog or whatever. Just make one up. Do a test one so you see exactly what your clients are looking at. Now it is smart, so if you put that they live in their residence for less than 3 years, it's going to show up asking them for their previous address. So it knows that it needs to know the last 3 years worth of addresses. Okay, pretty standard. Just down at the bottom, I'll point out if they hit submit application, it's going to go through. You're going to receive an email note that someone's gone in and submitted an application. However, if they don't hit that, they don't finish it, let's say they just do a few of their contact details and then they have to leave or something, they exit out of it, you'll still receive them as a lead in your Velocity. So this is something really great because it gives you the opportunity to actually still reach out to these people, and you can know exactly who's touched your application. So especially a good idea to, sorry, I just got kicked out there, to set up a workflow telling you that you have a new lead like this one I have here. So maybe someone went in, they started filling out my application. I want to give them a call because they might be interested in a mortgage. So I've set it up that I can go and be reminded of that, but they will show up here on your dashboard as well. So leads, this is my leads. These were either entered by myself or they were entered by people starting to fill out my application but didn't finish. All right, now the next one, this is the envelope. This, again, is the mail system. Okay, same thing as on your homepage. And the bell, this is your time-based reminders. So important dates will show up there. Okay, so that's pretty much it for showing you around. Now, hopefully you're not so confused as to what you're looking at. I'm going to jump now into your settings and just go over that quickly before we actually get into inputting an application. Okay, so I go me, up here, me, this is where you're going to find your settings, your profile, the CRMs, and as I was speaking before about the workflows. Profile we leave more so for when you're actually setting up your CRM because that's where that profile imagery and stuff shows up. So for now, we're just going to get into the settings. Okay, so this is the settings page. Give it a scroll. It's pretty self-explanatory. And this is your opportunity to really make your Velocity account your own. Customize it however you'd like. You can choose for your calendar options. For example, if you want someone else in your firm to be able to view or edit your calendar, then put their name in here. Choose what you want to show up on your calendar. Again, the opportunity to Google Sync is here as well as on your calendar page. Now, if I scroll down to my email options, this is where I input my email signature. Now, when you send out things from Velocity, it's going to look like it's coming from your normal email. So when they respond to an email you send from Velocity, it's going to go to your normal mail. And you will be sending out quite a few things from Velocity, such as your conditions list or when you're emailing things to the underwriter, things like that. So make sure to go in and put in a signature, whether you just want to go and type it, that's up to you. What I did was took a screenshot of my normal email signature and I just dragged and dropped the image in there, really simple. I just dragged it from file and put it in. And then I also put this apply now text. So good idea to put that in your normal email signature as well as your signature here on your settings page. And then what you can do is you can press this little link button and you can hyperlink it to that online application form link I showed you earlier. Now, where is that link again? Quiz question. It is here, right on the new apps page. Okay, so good idea to definitely go in and put that there so your clients always have access to your application. And also you probably want to put that on your website if you have a personal website with the apply now button. Going in and relinking it to that is a good idea because the most natural way to really start using Velocity is to start receiving applications in the system. Okay, gonna just continue scrolling. There's lots to show here, but I don't want to overwhelm you with things that aren't as pertinent for the first time. Just know that here you can make your conditions list smart so that they can set up kind of to go off automatic based on the type of applicant or the type of mortgage. So your condition lists will auto-populate so that you don't have to go and fill them out every time because every second counts, as it says right here. Okay, continuing on down past this section, under notifications, I'm just going to make sure that I have check off to send an email if a document is uploaded, probably something important to receive notifications about, right? And then continuing down, deals dashboard, one thing I'm going to point out is that you probably, as I showed you your dashboard before, it has the different statuses. You probably don't want new deals on your dashboard because new deals are more so for where there's kind of a central underwriter and deals come in and then they're distributed amongst the brokers. So they're not assigned an agent yet. So it might just be cluttering up your dashboard. So go ahead and just remove that if you feel it's necessary. And then the next thing I'm going to point out to you is under the deal style. I'm sure that most of you have seen by now, whether I showed you or you saw by going in the system by yourself, we have two different screen views. So we have the modern and the classic. The modern being our take on things. It's really sleek, it's customizable. I think you'll find it'll save you a lot of time and stress when doing things like scrolling the application. And then the classic view looks a lot like Expert. So if that's what you're used to, that's totally fine, especially when filling out a new app. Feel free to use that view, but just don't make it your default. Give yourself at least a chance to get used to the modern, because I know most brokers actually do prefer that view. So go in and uncheck the classic view whenever you're willing to give yourself that chance. Now, as I said, the modern view is customizable, so you can choose what order you want things to show up in on your page. Can save yourself a lot of scrolling. And you can also differentiate between a new application and a submitted like ongoing deal, a real deal. Because with a real deal, you're going to work a lot on your conditions and documents, so you'll want that to have a lower number. So number 2, because I want it near the top. Notes, I usually recommend to keep as number 1 and keep auto expanded. Reason being, you'll see when we go over client portal training. So notes number 1 for your deal order, probably conditions and documents number 2. Totally up to you though. And then if I scroll down, I see new application order and I can do it differently. So maybe with the new apps, I want the borrowers, mortgage requests, assets and properties, that kind of thing closer to the top because I'll be working a lot in those sections. And again, I put my notes as number 1. All right, so go in and do this on your own time. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to jump now right into inputting an app. So let's go and do that because it's really hard to start using the system without actually submitting. So going over to add. This add here is where I go to add an application, a contact, or a lead. I'm going to add in an application. All right, with a quick add, I just go select what's the name, first and last name. And then it's going to pop up if it has any matches, so anyone else in the system. Reason being, Velocity is a client-based system, whereas Expert was deal-based. So we look at it as Clark Kent maybe has 3 files, but all 3 files will be kept under Clark Kent, whereas in Expert, Clark Kent would have 3 separate files. So we want to merge them together. Reason being, you don't want him to receive 3 different birthday cards, etc. when you go to use your CRM or maturity notices. So definitely a good idea to give him a merge. And if this is the same guy, I can click to go view contact. If it is, I just check off this box and it will bring all his info over for me so I don't have to redo anything. And you should have a lot of people in your system because you've had your data brought over from Expert. All right, next, the Castle opt-in. This is the digital form of opting in to receive communications, so probably want to go in and check that. Reference number is automatic. I just have to choose the closing date, which I can change at any time. And then the lender mortgage amount I can do later. So when I was ready, I just hit save to be bounced right into my application. Now I'm going to jump into one that I've already have open. So I jump back previous deals. I'm going to go into Betty Boop here. And as this loads, you'll see our modern screen. This is what our modern screen looks like. Probably looks really different to you, but it always has your agent status, closing date at the top, which you can easily just click to change, okay? And your GDS, TDS are here. This stays with you as you scroll on the page. Red if they're out of balance, green if they're in balance as a general guideline. If I click this drop down, what we give you is we give you details. So how do we come up with this calculation? It's really important to know what went into that so that you know if there are mistakes made there. So if you're on the phone with your underwriter and there's a discrepancy between the amount, you can say, oh, yep, that's where I made a mistake, or maybe you can justify your calculation. Okay, I'm going to quickly drop into the classic view now so I can show you the difference. I do that by just clicking between these buttons in the top right corner. Really easy to switch back and forth. And as this loads, you'll probably see what looks quite familiar to you. It probably looks a lot like Expert. As I scroll down, you'll see shouldn't look too different. Should feel quite comfortable using this. So don't be intimidated. Go ahead and use it. Only difference is being really that you have also your detailed GDS, TDS here with these drop-down arrows to help you out when it comes to calculating those. All right, going to switch back to the modern view now. Okay, here in the modern view, I'm gonna point out a few things that are different and unique about our system. Not going to show you how to fill out a mortgage app because hopefully you know how to do that by now. Just going to show you, what's a little different. What are you looking at? So starting at the top, I have my notes section. This is where I can go, and if I want to add a note, something to keep on file, you can see I've added a joke one in here earlier. I can do that. I can also highlight these notes. So if I want them to be kind of top of mind, I click the little pin button here, this little button. And what that's going to do is it's going to make them super highlighted. Let me just try that again. Here you go. So it's going to highlight it and kind of make it right in my face. I can't avoid this note. So that's good if you need to remember something and it's not really time specific. It's just you want to keep a note on file. You can definitely do it that way. All right, borrowers section. If you have husband and wife, more than one person on a deal, just add the second borrower here, input their info, and you'll be able to toggle back and forth between the two. Okay, this is pretty standard. Only thing that's pretty unique is that when you go in and fill out the address here, if I put that they currently own, so the dwelling status, they own this address, what's going to happen is it's going to automatically be populated down in my assets, liabilities, and properties section. So if I click to expand this and I scroll down to my properties, I'll see that that property is right there. So I don't have to go and retype it. That's really helpful, saves me time. And I can do it in more detail here with the mortgage information. And you know what? If this is a subject property, you can also copy it over by clicking this button, so you don't actually have to go again, retype it in the subject property. So saving me a lot of time there. Okay, just going to scroll back up to my borrowers section. Same as with your online application form link, if they live at this residence less than 3 years, it'll auto-populate to ask their previous address because it knows that it needs the last 3 years. Now, you can rest assured that it is saving actually line by line, so you won't miss out on anything. Who doesn't like the 29-minute timeouts? I don't think anyone does like losing the last half hour of their life's worth of work. So we don't have any issues with that. You don't have to worry about that. As I type in this bar, I want you to watch this top section here. You're going to see a little blue bar flash across the screen as soon as I click out of that field. Okay, there it went really fast. If you missed it, it was there lightning fast, but that's basically it saving every time. So if you don't believe me, we do have under this actions button kind of a placebo save for the people who don't trust us. But that validate is also helpful as well because you can validate before you send it off to the lender. Okay, just continuing on my scrolling journey. Employment's down here, income is here. Mortgage requests. actually, I'm going to go to that after. Assets, liabilities, this is where you go to add those in. I can choose by borrower. This is where I pull my credit bureau. Okay, so I just hit get credit bureau. Who is it for? Authorized, single or joint. I can copy it to my liabilities. I can choose Equifax or TransUnion. TransUnion being up to 40% cheaper, depending on your arrangement with them. And when you choose the lender, we'll tell you if they accept TransUnion or Equifax. So you might want to go, and if you have a lender in mind, you might want to go and select the lender from the mortgage request section first, so that you can find out if they accept TransUnion if you ever want to pull a TransUnion. Okay, and then just hit Request Bureau when you're ready. And those will be populated here, so right within your deal. Okay, you can override it if you need, or if you need to exit out, say the amount is 0, you can always do that too. All right, properties, as I showed you earlier, if I need to add a property, I just add a second one. So you can see I have 2 properties here. Click them to expand and contract. If I have a first mortgage, I would add it in there. All right, continuing on my scrolling, I'm going to go down to up to my mortgage request section. Okay, this is where all the magic happens, really. Now, starting off with down payment, ignore that. I'll show you what I just did thereafter. Starting off with down payment, you can add the down payment in here and choose, where is it from, what's the amount. If I want to add another one, I can just add down payment, really simple. But that's going to show up automatically if I go down to the breakdown. So down payment is going to pull automatically here. Now, if I want to calculate it as a percent of the purchase price, I can do that too. I can easily just check off this override button. Oops, let's check that. And it'll let me put it in as a percent. So I could put in the percent and then press the calculate button, and it will calculate the exact amount of the purchase price that I want for me. Okay. So that's a second way to do down payment. And then in that case, I could just select what is the down payment source, and then the down payment would pull from there. Now, it's going to auto-calculate the first mortgage total. If I'm wanting to do a second mortgage total, I need to have this first mortgage in the properties section above, and then it will pull a second mortgage for me. Okay, choosing the lender, this is where I do that. If it's private lenders, you could see I had selected private. We do have a way you can just send them a PDF. So we do submit to all lenders. As I go through the list, you can see we have our prime, then alternative, then others. So there are many, 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 many lenders on here. But if I'm wanting to do private, I just do private lender. Okay, submission products are done by lenders. Net rate as well. Is it approval or pre-approval? Is it a mortgage or a line of credit? Now, if I'm doing a second mortgage, I need to indicate that here under the mortgage type and the purpose. Okay, I'm just going to show you actually what it looks like when I choose a lender. So Scotiabank, it tells me that you can pull credit from Equifax or a TransUnion. So now I know that I could go and pull a TransUnion bureau. All right, I've got a question. Just a minute, guys. Okay, I'm just going to reference this question at the end. So going to continue on. Okay, so if I'm continuing on down, we've been through this. Now, if it's a requested or existing mortgage, I indicate here. Is it insured? I check that off here. The insurance premium, that'll show up too, that'll calculate for me, and then it's going to show you the total mortgage amount with the premium. Okay, interest adjustment date and amount are done here. Line of business, so if this is a B loan, I can select that from the line of business right here. The CRM product, this is what you choose for your, in the interest of your compliance documents. Okay, so if you're wanting to choose a different product or interest rate or something than the one you actually submitted, you can put that in here, and when you go to do compliance, you'll have the option to use this CRM product instead of the submitted product. Can you override insurance premium? I've just had that question. Yes, that's what I just did here, is premium override. Okay, so it calculates, but if I want to override it, I just check that. Erica, that was a good question. Okay, yeah, and this is where you go to do the rate type, term type, payment frequency, compound period, amortization, and then here you can calculate the monthly payments. Okay, and then under qualifying details, this is exactly where you put just that. And as I scroll down, you can see submission agent from your drop-down menu. Now, we should have them already in there. If you're missing some or something, just let us know, let customer cares or myself know. We put those in on the back end. Okay, and submission notes. This is where you put in the notes to send to your lender. And then once you're ready, you just hit this submit to lender button, and that's it. Your status would change to submitted, and all would be good. You'd see the submitted date here. And that's pretty much everything for submitting a deal. Do I have any questions? Now is the time. Anything you think any questions you have about the application? Just to point out, you also have this space here to put in the referral. So who referred this deal to you? Okay, if you want to keep track of that and send them a gift card or something, that's where you can do that. Your conditions and documents section. So when you go to do upload the conditions and send them off to the borrower, this is where you do that. And now, as I said, you have a way to make them smart. So you can have these conditions auto-populate. But any that don't auto-populate, which that's what this blue bar is showing up here, it's the smart conditions. Any that don't auto-populate, I can just hit this add upload conditions. Okay, choose the condition from the drop-down menu, whatever I want to add, and then just hit add condition. And that will be added right to my list. So then once I'm ready, if I want to send this condition list to the client, or let's say I already have attached in here the conditions I'm ready to send to the lender, the way you do that is just go and select the ones you want to send, then go up to here, and now everything in this section is done under this actions button. This is where all the action happens. I would just go, and then under email options, I could email either with the conditions and documents. I could email either the conditions and documents or just the conditions. So you can see if I hit conditions and documents, you can see the documents attached here and my conditions list all nicely laid out and organized here. I could go in, customize the email as much as I want, blah, 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 and then send that off to the underwriter or send that off to whoever I'm wanting to send it off to my client, etc. So that's how you're going to send emails out from Velocity, and you can see that signature that I input in the settings page, that shows up right here. So that's why I recommend doing that and keeping it consistent. Now, as soon as I sent that email out, something really great is it's going to be tracked down here in my system email history. So down here, I'll have the past emails, anything that I've sent right from Velocity. And if I want, I can just click them to bring that email back up and see exactly what it was that I sent. So really good way of keeping track of things there. Okay, so I have a question about if it auto calculates down payment at 10% above $500,000. Let's just go in and maybe see. I'm just going to pull up a new one. We can play with the down payment. Okay, if I go to the mortgage request section, again, this is where you do down payment. If I wanted to override the down payment, I would go in and put in the purchase price. For over 500. Okay, so let's say 600,000. I think it kind of auto calculates whatever you put in there. So I don't think it's going to do anything until you put an amount in there. So I would have to go in and actually put the 5, and then it will calculate for me if I overrode it and wanted to do it by percent. Otherwise, I'd just put the amount up in the mortgage request section here. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Just give me 1 second, guys, to read through these questions, okay? Hold the line. Sorry, sorry, Cheryl. I'm just going to unmute your line. Wondering if you have a microphone. I have my colleague here, Graham, with me. Cheryl, can you hear us?
I sure can.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
How are you?
Good, good, thanks. Okay, do you want to ask a question for everyone?
So which one of, like, should we just do with what you're talking about right now on this 5% in the?
Yeah, so you're just saying it doesn't change as you can't put 5%
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, because if you put 5, it should go to 5.83 or something like that is what, it's something like that. So you'd have to manually calculate that out. So the system isn't doing it for us for sure. Because over 500, you have to
calculate it, which I think is the same in Expert, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, right? So yeah, you have to manually calculate that. Yeah.
Yeah, Expert just tells us when you forget, because
Okay.
old brain forget sometimes, but it just said, it just pops up to say that it's not the correct down payment.
Okay, yeah, and that's something that we will put on our list of requests to suggest to the developers.
Yeah, just how it is when you can't remember everything.
Yeah, totally.
My other question is for the lenders that have portals like that we upload our documents to, how do we do that? So if I haven't done, because I'm just started using you guys, as you know, so it's just simpler to do it the one way.
Sure.
So I'll upload my documents into here, but I don't want them to go back to the lender again because they've already signed off on them.
Yeah,
so
that's a good question.
How do you deal with that?
Or if you're wanting to send them, you mean to like MCAP or something where you have to send them into their portal?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we
I've
are
already
working
done
on
that
getting
manually.
a direct connection with those lenders. So that will come someday. But for now, what you have is a quick way to download them. So I'm just going to drop into the deal where there's actually documents in there and show you in Betty Boops. Yeah, so what you do is you just basically go and you can download the conditions that you have saved in here as a zip file. It's like one click, and then that can download to your desktop or wherever, and then you can just kind of like drag them and drop them into the lender portal. So really simple to do. And that's
So, sorry, what I'm more meaning is I've already sent the documents to the lender, what they've requested. So I've already sent it through to them through just my regular email, and I put it onto their portal already. So I didn't do it through Velocity.
okay.
So now what I want to know is when I've done that, so now I know I have to upload my documents to Velocity so that I have it for compliance, but I want to know, I don't want to send them to the lender a second time because they've already got them.
Yeah, nothing goes there until you send it.
So how do I satisfy that all my conditions are met, I guess is what my question is.
Okay, so yeah, you just upload the conditions in here, and you'd find them from the drop-down menu, or you'd add them in, and then once you're done, you can just hit this lender conditions met.
Okay. And I do hit upload, and that's not going to send it to the lender. It's just going to upload it into Velocity.
No. Yeah, nothing gets sent to the lender unless you actually go and like select the condition, as I showed you earlier, put in their email address. No, nothing goes. This is app you only you see the conditions. Yeah, good question though. So once I did with lender conditions met, that's going to change the status to waiting to close, and that's how you kind of move the deal along. Now, for whoever does your compliance, I think it's Ola. When you're ready for her to check your compliance, you can check this ready for compliance right here. And then on her end, she can see, Ola, you'll be able to see in a report which brokers and which files are ready for compliance. So that's just something nice you can do to remind her which deals are ready.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, do I have any other questions? All right. Ola, I'm just going to unmute you for a second. Hey, Ola.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks. Do you have any questions?
No, I think I'm okay.
Okay.
Jason and I have been following along, so.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, that's what we like to do for the first time. As we don't want to overwhelm you. That would be our bad if we did. We just want to show you, the basics, how to input an application. So now that we've showed you all that, we highly encourage you to go give it a try. They say usually 5 apps is kind of the magic number. People start to feel more comfortable after that. If you have questions throughout while you're inputting the app or something, just give me a call or my colleague as well. He's here. I can forward you guys his email. I'm going to send a follow-up email with kind of a covering of the training we did today. So if you missed something, don't worry. There's videos and step-by-steps for that too. And then I look forward to our next meeting. Okay, thanks so much for listening. Again, reach out to me with questions. We're here for you, okay? All right, bye, Modern Mortgages.